So I thought it might be done. I thought it might be fun to do another political stances video because the first one went so well. Um, well, fun fact for y'all: I got a hate comment on that video. That's my first time getting a hate comment ever. And of course, YouTube doesn't permit people to see this anymore. Shame. But I got 3 dislikes on that one. Personal record. Um, where was I? So yeah, I thought it might be fun to do another political stances video, but so I've already talked about the governmental and economic stuff. My big two things: immigration and taxation. Um, so I thought it might be good to do one more on like the social politics side of things. About the like relationships between people aspect of things. So I see a lot of people say online and in real life. Um, One argument I've come across a lot, somebody will ask, like, is it okay? Is it normal? Is it what have you to be friends with somebody, just friends with somebody of the opposite gender? And then, and I promise you guys, I don't have an example here, but this is a common thing. Um, I will see people say, like, well, think about your parents. Does your mom have a guy best friend? Does your dad have a girl best friend? Probably not. Obviously, it's just not possible if you're in a relationship to be friends with somebody of the opposite gender. It's not normal. Blah blah blah. And I see people like who avoid being friends with someone of the opposite gender, who think that it's a bad idea and that like just it's inevitable to become attracted to one another. And I don't want to be insulting, but it's like those people to me are like offensively stupid. But I don't hate them as much as I feel kind of bad for them, particularly the men who are the people you see say this the most often. That's something you could say about a lot of things, isn't it? Um, and it's like I feel bad for them because it's like, yes, you can, man. Like, are you stupid? Are you an animal? Are you a dog? You're just unable to control yourself. You're you have feelings that strong, and just no willpower. But also in the first place, like, why? Why shouldn't we be capable of that? That's our thing. That's how humans work. We're intelligent enough to in a lot of ways rise above nature and what is natural. That's our fucking thing. And it's like that's why I hate appeal to nature arguments in general. A guy saying that it's just like it's inevitable because it's only natural. It's just how we're hardwired. That if you're just friends with a girl, you'll become attracted to her eventually. You're likening yourself to a dog right now. That's what you're doing. Give yourself some credit. Or if you don't deserve it, you know, be better than that. Also, like, come on, guys. Women are cool. Like, why wouldn't you be fulfilled out of just a friendship with a woman? Um, I'm biased in this because I have a total of perhaps 2 male friends off the top of my head. Otherwise, um, my all of my friendships and my friend groups entirely women. I much more often than not I am the only guy in a group. Um, But it's like, I don't know, what's wrong with that? Why does that have to be such a big thing? It's a shame. It shouldn't be because I'm comfortable and happy. I'm fulfilled with the fact that I am just friends with them. Um, but like, I don't know. It makes me sad that so many people don't think that way, and they see two people of the opposite gender being friends, and they just assume that something has to be going on. To me, it's like a lot of people out there just never rose above um, how they were in first grade, really. Um, so that's what I think about that one, because it's a contentious topic, at least online. And the thing is, I, along with many other people, do spend a great deal of time online, and it's really only the most inflammatory voices that you hear, because that's what people engage with. So I don't think that in the real world it really is a majority of people that think this. It's just like I, along with many others, am constantly bombarded with stuff like that, and of course those people do exist. I only spend about like 50 minutes a day on Instagram, but it's enough. It has an effect. I really think social media as a whole, it's a shame to say it, because I think the interconnectedness is a pro, but overall, social media is really a cancer, and we probably would be better off without it. Um, I often find myself thinking about that. I wonder if there was ever a point, like during the Industrial Revolution, where we reached a point where we could have stopped and been pretty okay, or maybe even better off than we are right now. But well, here's the thing, because I think that about social media, but then I think to myself, how far back do I want to go? Like, how easy should communication be? How easy should it be to share your life with everyone, you know? Um, And well, I don't have a definitive answer to that yet. I've thought about it, but I haven't reached my own personal conclusion. I think perhaps in a completely ideal world, it would be as easy as it is now to call and text your friends, but we wouldn't have all of this stuff with social media and just like advertising our lives. I find that strange. I don't think it was natural. It's like It's like you could go on Instagram and you scroll through the reels and you see somebody having the best day of their life, and then a scroll later you see someone having the absolute worst day of their life. And if you're an empathetic person, you see those things, and a part of you feels those emotions, you know? So it's just like, and of course, a lot of people like are scrolling on social media like right when they get up in the morning, or when they're going to bed at night, and they're just and their brain is just getting attacked, with very strong emotions on the complete opposite of the emotional spectrum from one another. And it's like, guys, do we really think this isn't causing a bunch of lasting damage here? Um, I don't want to pretend like I'm above that all. I do all those things too, obviously. What else do I have to say about that? Oh yeah, I think there are some things like medicine that should never stop advancing, no matter what. Um, of course, the medical industry as a whole, has its flaws, as anything does, that come from corrupt people within the system, but can also, of course, sometimes come from the structure of the system itself, etc., etc. But just medicine itself and the study of it, I think that's something we should continue researching no matter what. Um, but I think with technology and communication, it's like, guys, I think we're good. Like, I think we got it. Um, oh yeah, that reminds me. Generative AI. Also a cancer, but much more unambiguously than social media. I just completely hate AI overall, like entirely, in the way it's being used. And like I am not informed on the things that everyone is saying about like the wasting water stuff. I don't know how that works. I don't know if AI is actually genuinely like using up valuable resources and wasting water, and like if it's making it undrinkable. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm not informed on that, but even if that weren't the case, I would still fucking hate AI. It would still be horrible, you know? Like imagine if instead of having the ability to walk into a restaurant and order and like from a menu order what you want and have somebody actually make that. You just have to like elaborately explain the exact kind of food it is you want, and it's never something they actually have. And they just toss a bunch of random shit into a blender, and they just throw out a portion of it in your fucking face, and it's not what you wanted at all, but you just have to eat it. Um, and it's like you walk into this restaurant, you're really confused by the concept, and you don't think it's a good idea, and the food never tastes or looks good at all, and you hate the process of ordering it. But then you look around at everyone else, and they're just eating the exact same horrible tasting slop as has just been put on your plate, but they're all pretending it's great for some reason, and and you start to wonder if they actually fucking believe that. And it's like, how? Um, y'all know what I mean? So yeah, there's my things on friendships with the opposite gender and social media and AI. I kind of got lost there and I kind of went on a few tangents. Um, I hope I've gotten all my points across though. I will say, if anything, I'm kind of being mild with the whole stuff about friendships with the opposite gender. Because I'm talking about people that, at the very least, still recognize that a relationship can exist and that they do want to interact with the opposite gender in some form, but they just think that it can only be romantic and or sexual. And that's a shame in its own right. That's a real shame. I hate to see that. It makes me sad. But then you get to the people. Well, I mean, let's be real here. Then you get to the men who are just straight up misogynistic, who just hate women outright. And like, as much as that angers me, because of course it does, I also just like really pity them. I really feel bad for them because it's like just the ability to have a pleasant interaction, with another person. Like that's an important thing. The ability to talk to a stranger. Um, and it's like you're just cutting yourself off from half of the population for a bunch of reasons that are complete bullshit anyway. Like fuck you. I don't know. Like that Nick Fuentes guy. Of course, this is like probably the most mild opinion he has because he's got a bunch of shit going on. Um, he's like a huge Nazi despite being a Mexican cat boy. You guys can look it up. It's true. Um, but also, if all of that wasn't bad enough in its own right, he just couldn't stop there. He had to be a massive raging misogynist. So he went on to a like a popular like a broadcast network show, um, and he was like, it was the Piers Morgan show, and he was just openly saying, I think women are insufferable. I think they're really hard to be around. I think they need to shut up. And it's like, dude, like, well, firstly, I hate you on account of saying all that. That's such awful things to say. But also, it infuriates me even more to think, just, dude, you're like completely wrong in every way right now. And what put you under that impression? Why are you so inescapably convinced of something that is just so clearly wrong if you just, you know, if you just step out into the real world for a second and you try to be a kind person? Why are you so incapable of that? Um, it, it makes me mad for the most part, but it also just kind of makes me sad. I'm kind of sad for that guy because he's missing out on a nice thing. Human connection is it's what we all really need at the end of the day. Um, I guess that's. I'm trying to think. There's definitely. I run into this problem all the time because I don't script these videos. I have an idea for a topic, and then I turn the camera on and I start talking. But I don't plan anything out. So there's always a bunch more that I want to say as compared to what I actually say. Just kind of an inevitable fact of the formatting I've chosen, but I'm just not really willing to put the energy into writing a full script for these things. Not as of now, at least. But yeah, just open letter to Nick Fuentes. I'm sorry for you, man. I really hope you can move on from all of those very false impressions you're under about women. All right, well, I paused the recording to ruminate on things. I will say, as you guys might be able to expect by now, I have a lot more to say about like the gender wars that you see online and all of that stuff. But frankly, my thoughts on that are kind of disorganized as of now, and I think I should leave that for another time, if even that. Okay, so like, there's the social politics stuff. Let me see if I can find this. In the meantime, I'll say this other thing. I got so pissed off the other day when I saw that press conference where the mayor of Minneapolis like looked at the camera or whatever, and he was like, "Hey, ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis," and then all his other fellow spineless fucking liberals were just going around like, "Oh my god, he said the F word," and it's like, you're the fucking mayor. You're the mayor of Minneapolis. You get them out of there, bitch. Oh my god, why are the Democrats so fucking useless? Ugh. Okay, I found it. I found the political cartoon I was looking for. I'm gonna hold that up to the camera. Can you guys read that, or is it inverted? Okay, so it's about pork barrel spending, and at the top is a quote: "All the animals in the barnyards are equal, dot dot dot, except the pigs, who are more equal." George Orwell, Animal Farm. Misquote, by the way. It's like all animals are created equal, but some are more equal than others. And the whole point is they like slowly morphed the quote into eventually saying that the pigs did because they were gaslighting everyone. And it was about the Russian Revolution, whatever. Misquote, strike one. But anyways, so like there are two pigs, and it's about pork barrel spending, which is um, the big example is the use of federal taxes and federal funding to support local projects like new highways and parks and stuff like that. Um, Personally, I don't think there's any problem with the concept of pork barrel spending as long as it is equitable and happens like everywhere a reasonable amount. It's like the obvious immediate problem that people bring up is that, well, I don't want my tax dollars going to like, just a highway in some other state all the way across the country. And it's like, I wouldn't want that unless somebody else's tax dollars from all the way across the country also went to building a highway over here. I don't support the building of highways whatsoever. So that's a bad example. um, what I'm saying is, if my taxes go to funding some project in another state, that's fine with me if somebody's taxes in some other state go to funding projects, in my state. It's like if the flow of money is actually going everywhere equitably, there's no real problem with it. The issue is that obviously that doesn't happen because nothing's ever equitable ever in the US. But anyways, here, look. So this is a political comment criticizing pork barrel spending, right? Um, and it's saying all animals in the barnyard are equal except the pigs, who are more equal. But look, one of the pigs is meant to look also like an elephant, and the other one also like a donkey. So it's talking about the two political parties, and the trough is labeled pork barrel spending. So it's talking about the two political parties and saying that they both do it. And it's like, okay, so who are the pigs more equal then? You just listed everyone. Those are the two parties. It's a two-party system. And if both of the Republicans and the Democrats do it, then your comic doesn't fucking work. You're not criticizing anything. You're just saying like, "Oh, both sides are bad and both sides do it." And that's not fucking enough. That's not enough of a critique, okay? Because yes, both parties are bad, all right? But yeah, one of them's great deal worse. It's the Republicans. And then the Democrats on the other hand are just spineless and they don't do anything about it. Excuse me. So yes, both parties are bad, and I don't support either of them, but it doesn't stop there, you know? That's not enough on its own. Also, everyone always likes to say, oh, both parties do this, both parties do that. Teachers, government teachers, I think they're kind of forced to do that. You're not really probably allowed to express your own personal opinions, or teaching, like, it's perfectly reasonable that teaching has to be bipartisan, but it's just not true. Sometimes, let's be honest, every time it is the case that one political party is extremely way more guilty of something than the other. All right? And I'm just like so sick of having to do this little song and dance where we pretend that that's not the case. It's tiring. Um so there's that. So yeah, that political cartoon made me mad. But yeah, I hate the Democrats. I get so pissed off at them. And also, like, the on the surface of it, left-leaning late night talk show hosts who are always constantly lampooning Trump, and it's like, they'll say something like, "Oh, Trump's bad because of this and that," and it's like, "Okay, yeah, I agree," and then the crowd is cheering for them, and it's like, "Okay, that's fine that you guys all agree, but like, what now?" You said it, but that didn't really do anything, right? Um, and I know that I'm not doing anything with this either. I'm just complaining here. I'm not under the impression that I am somehow different or above uh, those things, but I don't have any power. I'm not able to do anything. This is the best I can do. So the talk show hosts I resent, but can somewhat forgive. The Democrats that are actually in office and are always claiming that they want to do something but are never doing anything about the shit that Trump is doing, I hate those guys. I fucking hate those guys. It's like, it's not enough to go get in front of a camera and say fuck you, when you have as much video evidence as we have of ICE brutalizing Hispanic people. It's like, guys, they need to be stopped from doing that. You need to stop funding them. You need to put in some legislation, to actually punish them for their wrongdoings here. The ICE agents that have just gone out and fucking attacked Hispanic people. It's like, oh, and I can't confirm this, but I did see a screenshot of something that was saying that, if you actually look at the statistics of who they have been detaining, it actually is, the majority of times, like not somebody with a criminal record or not somebody committing any crime. Um, they've been legal citizens plenty of the time. I've made a video about this before, about how I volunteer at a food pantry and I live in a very diverse area. There was an ICE raid at the neighborhood next to my place of work, and I'm kind of just lucky that I wasn't there. And then I see the mayor of Minneapolis just going and saying, "Hey, fuck you," and then not doing anything. It's like, I don't care that you said that. Go put in the work to do something about these people. Fuck, man. So that pisses me off. God, I just hate ICE so much. I don't think I've ever held more hatred for anything else in my life. Excuse me. I'm just gonna get too pissed off if I keep talking about it, really. Should move on from that. I like for my videos to have a more, like, succinct conclusion, or at least to, like, end on a note that, like, feels like I got somewhere, or that it was conclusive. Given the nature of this video, I don't know if I can really do that, because, like, I've only shared here, like, 10%. That's a big number. A small percentage of the things I think, because this is just such a broad, such a vast topic, to talk about one's own political stances. But I also don't like to end my videos on a negative note, and I don't want it to just be me being mad and then cut to black. So I wanted to just film a little ending portion where like I have calmed down and like things are okay here. So that's all that this is. And goodbye.